figured you wanted to bring that a bit maybe or something.
Having plans is great.
I'm in every day. I'm off this week.
Are you?
Yeah, just had our daughter's
Oh, you did? Roof comes right down onto that brick closet is.
helping out with that.
Yeah, but I think that's, I think that,
About bored already.
when you were building it,
That means she's good.
I said to you,
You get bored.
It's come up to help you out.
where the half bath
Oh,
was in there in the laundry room.
Yeah, she's
I
pretty
said,
short
that
so
has
far.
to be larger. I said, no problem. So
We'll see.
three narrow closet. I mean, that's an easy thing.
Yeah, okay.
That's easy.
Yeah.
It would be, washer and dryer on it. You know, with that, with the furnaces and everything on, I mean, all the ones right there, right out there.
Yeah. Seems so.
Well, I'm not this is- I was there when they built it.
Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, March 4th Planning Commission meeting. Call the meeting to order. I would like to introduce Tom Magdads. He's the new member on the board. Couple of things to bring up here. At our next meeting, we'll have him and David sworn in. We'll also elect chairman and a vice chair at that time. So be thinking about that over the next month. Tom, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Push.
Yep.
My name's Tom Magdance. I was raised in South Dakota and started out in Faith and then Pierre. Ended up going to South Dakota State as engineering, civil engineer. Worked construction my whole life with a company, 35 years with Black & Veatch, and built power plants, managed them, and my wife, she grew up in Sturgis here. Kelly Meckling was her name, our maiden name, and we decided that after the career being gone out of South Dakota for the 35 years, we would come back home and retire. So we came back in April of 19 and loved it ever since. Decided to partake in the Planning Commission and done construction my whole life, so I figured it'd help.
Yep.
So,
Well, great to have you and welcome aboard.
thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. First item is approval of minutes from the February 11th meeting. Has everybody had time to review those?
Yep.
Any additions or corrections?
I didn't see anything. Nope.
Okay, is there a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second?
We have a first and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Everybody in favor say yes.
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 Everybody opposed? No. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to the action items. First action item is a final plat for Edwardson subdivision, Meade County, South Dakota.
Those aren't in order.
Up for consideration tonight is a final plat of lots 1, 2, and 3 of Edwardson subdivision. Davis Engineering has submitted a final plat. This plat is out located off of Highway 79 near the Sturgis Dragway. Here's a copy of the plat on the screen. You can see lot 1, 2, and 3 are all substantially large lots over 9 acres. This ends up falling within our 3-mile plating jurisdiction and is covered under our agreement with Meade County under Area 1. In Area 1, the city has all of the jurisdiction and the planning and zoning jurisdiction as well as the subdivision design standards and utilities. This particular piece of property, giving the size of the lots and the acreage, we do not have city services out there. Actually, Butte Mead Water is out there. That's what they'll be using for water. They will, these lot sizes fall within our subdivision ordinance to have a small on-site septic system. So when they decide to develop these lots, they will have to hire an engineer and they'll have to design the drain fields, and those will go to the DNR for approval and then on to us for approval. And then they will have to be constructed, and the engineer that they use will have to sign off that they've been installed correctly. This has been a plat that's been kind of in the works for several years. The access off of the highway requires that the DOT would have had to approve that as the highway authority. That has happened. We do have a signed letter from the DOT stating that they're okay with the approach and the access. There you can see where that access will be. Certified mailings. There's their highway approved highway permit, and Mike Carlson has signed off on the final plat. I think that's about all I have on this one. Staff, we have reviewed the plat as presented, and so has the Meade County Register of Deeds. We don't have any issues with it, so we are recommending approval of this plat, and I'd answer any questions you might have.
I got one question, Rick.
Sure.
The access will serve all 3 lots, or is there an individual access for each
No,
lot?
so there's one common, let me pull this plat back up. There's one common access point right here.
Okay.
And then you can see this indicates
Dedicated
area
right-of-way.
that's dedicated as public right-of-way, right?
Okay.
So in addition to that being a section line right-of-way, they've widened that easement and dedicated another stretch of 33 feet adjacent to that as public right-of-way. And that's where they will access to the 2 lots to the south. But there'll be one access point off of the highway.
Okay. That's what I thought I was getting out of it, but wanted to double check and make sure, so. Any discussion? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the final plat for
I'll
the
make
Edwardson?
motion to approve the final plat.
I have a first.
I'll second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed? No? Motion carries. Okay, our next item is the final plat approval for lots 2 revised and lot 5 revised, block 1 of Davenport Ranch, in the city of Sturgis.
So this is actually, Baseline Surveying has submitted a final plat of lots 2 revised and lot 5 revised of the Davenport Ranch addition. This is on the south end of town. This is actually simply just a lot line adjustment. As you can see on the plat, the old lot line for lot 2 was here, and lot 5 was much larger. The 2 owners have gotten together and reconfigured that so that lot 2 is a little bit larger, and lot 5 a little bit smaller. Both of them still greatly exceed the minimum requirement for acreage or square footage, and they're already, all of them are connected to city services. The roads are built, so we don't have any improvements to be made, simply just a simple lot line revision for these 2 lots. We would recommend approval of this plat.
Okay. Shannon, you got any comments?
No, not really. I think it's pretty simple, like Rick said. So, but if you have any questions, just let me know. And so, I think it's probably a lot configuration that makes sense, and it probably should have been that way when the original first plat come through. But so,
Okay. Any discussion? Any comments or concerns from the public? Okay. Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the final plat for Davenport Ranch?
I make a motion.
We have a first
I'll second.
and a second. No other discussion? Okay, all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed, no? Motion carries. Okay. Next item is a preliminary plat for Lot 9A and Lot 9B of Bowman Addition, City of Sturgis.
so next up we have a preliminary plat. This is on the south end of town, off of Pineview Drive. The applicant has a large 2-acre lot, 2+ acre lot. They're wishing to plat off one lot on the top and keep the remaining acreage down below. This is simply a preliminary plat. It will require that this area hatched out here is hard surfaced, and that the water and the sewer connections are made. The water will be going down this alleyway over to Katy Lane, and the sewer connects down Bowman Street onto Pineview. So what will happen next is should the planning and zoning approve this preliminary plat, the applicant will make the improvements, and then at such time the improvements are made, we would come back with a final plat. But we've reviewed this. The Public Works has reviewed this, water, sewer. We've seen what they want to do. We met with their contractor. We met with the applicant. We really don't have any concerns with this. We just need the weather to cooperate so that the applicant can get the required improvements done, and then he'll be back with a final plat.
Okay, is that bringing water and sewer to both lots then? Is that part of the improvement?
The parent parcel already has water, and it has a functioning on-site small septic system, so we wouldn't require them to make the connection until that system fails, and then they would have to connect to the sewer.
That's why there's the easement.
They're currently on city water already, though.
Okay. Any discussion?
Pretty straightforward.
Any discussion from the public? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve preliminary plat?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a first,
I'll second.
we have a second. Any other comments or concerns? All those in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Yes. All opposed, no? Motion carries. Next item is a variance request for Lot 11 revised, Block 1, Vernon Heights 2 subdivision, City of Sturgis.
So if you remember, this is one that the applicant submitted and combined two lots, lots 11 and 12 here. It's been a month, maybe 2 months ago, we approved that plat. Created Lot 11R. Now they have submitted a request for a variance on the front and side setbacks, which wouldn't be necessarily uncommon, other than the fact that in considering this, if the variance is approved, you in fact are then agreeing to the frontage being off of Malibu Loop. And there is a note on the plat when that plat was that right-of-way was dedicated, that's on the screen now, that says there is no access off of Malibu Loop. In addition, the sidewalk, the curb and gutter, you can see down here off of Bel Air Court, that's where the utilities are stubbed out. That's where the sidewalk is. It's got the drive over curb and gutter. This curb and gutter up here is a type B. So, I mean, it clearly shows the intent was for these lots to be frontaged off of Bel Air Circle, and not off of Malibu Loop. We actually have an ordinance, in place that does not allow for double frontage lots. This would be considered a double frontage lot, and that likely is the reason that note was put on the plat. So we did search out to get advice from our legal counsel and our city attorney, Eric Davis. I'm going to read what he wrote regarding this, and then I'll open it up to Mr. Loftus, and you can ask him any questions. I see Mr. Allison is here as well, and we'll see where we land on this. Says the restriction was imposed by the city pursuant to its authority over its roads and other public infrastructure. There is no entity with any authority to override this other than the city. The city's only authority would be to grant a variance, but the situation doesn't qualify for a variance. The only other remedy would be for the city to change the regulation by removing it from the plat, but it appears to be imposed for a valid reason. To wit, all the infrastructure was designed for access off of Bel Air, and access from Malibu is inappropriate based on the location of taps, sidewalks, and curb and gutter. I am all about accommodating private ownership rights when not detrimental to the city's interests, but I do not see how that can be shown here. So with that,
Great. Sorry, my
If you could
voice.
state your name and,
I'm TJ Loftus,
okay.
owner of the 2 lots, or 1 now. I do appreciate your efforts for fair and practical use of the land. I think Jim has done a terrific job in the city with this development. It is, I think, the nicest in town, so I really do appreciate that, and that's why I would pursue that. The original plating of this area, I understand, left these two in a really difficult place. So I was given the impression earlier that the variance wouldn't be a big deal, and was actually given verbal approval. Conversations with Jim and Alex Ucera, I understand that not to be the case. It's very different. The existing deed restrictions, when they were in place, had I think, terrific purpose for the history, the limited history that I learned about it, and so appreciate that. These 2 lots kind of got thrown into that, it seems. I understand curb and gutter and utilities and all that, so that was, I do see that. When I purchased the lot, the example I was given was a house on top. And so lot 11 does have access from Malibu Loop to, if there's another, I don't know if you have it, right there. There you go. So lot 11, you can see that, well, north would be to the left. That north half was the access that I was told. And then lot 12, I combined and just needed to create access to a garage. But even so, I don't mean to ignore or bypass. Obviously, you wouldn't let me, and Jim wouldn't let me. The covenants and the deed restrictions. I just wonder if there is a path to fixing this, because if you've been there, that top corner is beautiful. The backyard is BLM, the front, you look straight down Malibu Loop to a sunset. It's beautiful. Building from Bel Air Circle is going to be a dugout. There's 30 5 feet elevation change from the cul-de-sac to the top of Malibu, to Malibu Loop on Lot 11, and that's about 28 feet from 12, on 12, Lot 12, which isn't that anymore. And actually, Lot 12 isn't deep enough for a house. So it really isn't a buildable lot, where 13 on to 17 are wonderful lots, and I understand the logic. It's a beautiful development where all the access is that side. It's just leaving 12 aside, that it's not buildable. It's just it's a hillside. And so trying to find a spot, it's a beautiful spot on Lot 11. Now, asking for a variance, I know there's obviously big challenges to that because of the deed restriction and the covenants. Just curious if there is a solution that can be had, because these two lots are right at the end of the development, empty for a reason. 13, Bill Phillips is ready to go with, from Bel Air Circle or Bel Air Drive, which is logical. So I just would ask if there are any ways through, any possibilities to build there, because if I don't, I just don't see anyone doing that, so.
My turn.
So my understanding from visiting with the attorney is we have two separate issues here. One being a variance for setbacks, but that then brings into play the access. And so based on what I read earlier and his interpretation of it, I think that there is a potential way forward, which would be to petition the city to remove that restriction. I don't know that you'll be successful in that, but that would be the piece to remove the restriction to allow access off of Malibu. In all honesty, that probably has to happen first before this board could entertain the variance, because again, by agreeing to the variance, you're agreeing that the front of the lot, it faces north and not south. I mean, if you didn't take care of that and they gave you a front setback variance and a side, the front setback is gonna be on Bel Air Circle, so you're getting a variance there, not where you necessarily think you are, because of that.
Okay.
So I think there is a couple of different issues. I tried to get a hold of you and set up a meeting so we could review this ahead of time, and it didn't work out. But that was what I got last night when I visited with Mr. Davis.
Okay. I appreciate that. Yeah, I understand that the access from Malibu Loop is really the hurdle.
I'd say that's the first hurdle you gotta get over.
Yeah.
And my concern with putting in a driveway cut there, as steep as that road is there gonna be issues with a type B curb, you're channeling that water?
The other thing, I guess, in reviewing your plan, and should you be granted and we get there, the plan that you submitted shows 3 accesses off of Malibu, and that's not likely gonna happen either. I mean, you would probably be able to get a access off of Malibu, but certainly not 3.
Okay.
I mean, most residential lots, we wouldn't let them have 3, no matter where it was at.
My turn. My name's Jim Ellison. I'm the developer. When Vernon Heights was developed, that corner there was an issue with the Planning and Zoning Board. At that time, it was Judy Iverson and Pokey Jacobson and Penny Green. They were adamant about having a 60-foot wide road go around that corner. I wanted to narrow it down to a 40-foot. They wouldn't allow it. That road pushes right up against the BLM. And I didn't have time to sit and argue with them. So we just did it like they wanted. And we followed everything the way that the city wanted it done. So, I can tell you one thing, and I mentioned this to Rick one day. Somebody came around that corner at a high rate of speed and shot right off of there. And they're damn lucky they didn't drive their car right through Guy Edwards' townhouse, because they landed on Bel Air Circle. I've denied everyone who's got a townhouse there. They've already asked me to access Malibu Loop, and I've denied every one of them. There was 129 properties in Vernon Heights. There's 4 left. It's such a nice development. It was never planned to have access off Malibu Loop. That's why there's a 6-inch curb there to direct the water down the street. Otherwise, it's going to go over the bank. I mean, it comes barreling off that road. Safety, no parking on the streets. I don't know. TJ and Kristen are my new best friends, and I don't want to make them mad in any way, shape, or form, and we've talked about all this. And I said, not only, when somebody buys a lot up there, they ask me who enforces the covenants, and I say, I do. Believe me, the phone rings. It hasn't rang for quite a while now until TJ called me the other day. And I thought, holy smokes, we got to go through this again. But I don't want to offend him in any way, shape, or form. I think that maybe he was misled. He told me that Dave Smith gave him the okay, that he could access that road. I don't know, maybe Dave Smith was the acting city manager at that time. I'm not sure. I don't know how he was represented on the purchase of those 2 properties. I've often kind of wondered how anybody could build on them from the top, but they can build on them from the bottom because they do it on Camaro Drive. That's just my say in it. I didn't come here tonight to make anybody mad. I just came here to tell you about Vernon Heights and the covenances. And every time I file a plat, I file the covenances. Like Dale Hansen used to tell me, when you file that plat, the city accepts it. And he says those covenances are attached to that lot. So that's about it.
I'm not offended.
Well, don't get mad now.
I'm not mad. Not mad.
You know, I think like Rick said, there's 2 separate issues here. And I think the biggest thing is going through what you suggested, getting that deed restriction lifted.
I'm not gonna,
I don't agree with,
I'm not gonna,
because I think it's gonna be a huge erosion issue and probably flooding potential where you build, because the way that water's gonna come down that road, it's gonna wanna cut off at that point because of the steepness of that grade. That's my thoughts. I think more, more needs to be put into it. More discussions had before we talk about a variance.
Sitting here kind of looking at a flat screen too, without getting some eyes on it too a little bit.
It's a rough lot. It's a nasty lot down there. There's a lot of grade change in that area, and can it be done? Yeah, it's going to take some ingenuity probably to come off of Bel Air and get your house situated where you want it, to get the views that you want. But at this point, the Malibu Loop access, to me, is a tough deal. There's a reason why Mr. Allison put it in there this way. So, what do you guys have to say?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, it's going to end up doing more harm than good, I think, as far as, with that water coming down that way, the way it does. Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you.
I guess my biggest concern is the city ordinance that doesn't allow double frontage. Until that is changed, I don't think we should be able to even discuss the possibilities, because that ordinance alone would restrict any options.
So a couple of things, I guess, let me throw this out there as you think about this. There's probably three options at this point, and this could die for lack of a motion, which basically would just mean it dies and goes away, which might be a preferred method. You could vote to deny it, which in that case, you wouldn't be able to resubmit for a year, or you could approve it. If it's approved or if it's denied, if it's approved, it will go to council, and council can deny it, and based on my conversations with the attorney, that was gonna be his recommendation to the council. If you deny it, Mr. Loftus can still request that it move forward to the council, but again, if it is carried and upheld, you can't resubmit in a year. If it dies for lack of a motion, then I think there's opportunities to sit down and see if there is a path forward. Like I said, I think there's two different issues here.
Yeah.
And we need to deal with the elephant in the room, which is this restriction, and see if there's a way to do something with that. I mean, I think that gives you the most ability, but you are certainly, I mean, it's up to the governing board to determine how they wanna handle this.
Since it was brought up, if I could just say, double frontage is not my goal. Bel Air Circle isn't, it's about 15 feet lower than the start of the retaining wall to hold the garage. So that was out. I just wanted access one side, being Malibu Loop. I'm curious then, since there is access available to the top of Lot 11, I mean, what I was presented was a single-car garage and an 1,100 square foot house.
Stop. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
Covenants is 1,000 square foot minimum on townhouses and 1,200 square foot minimum on a property, single-family home with an attached two-car garage. That's a covenants.
Okay.
I said to TJ, I said, why don't you use lot 12 next to it as a runway into lot 11? That's what I thought. Drive up, turn right.
Right.
And drive in that way.
Turn around and in.
Yeah, that's what I suggested. I mean, there's another property up there on Bel Air that has that type of access because it had a lot similar to that one. That was my thought.
Put the two lots together, and then,
Right.
They're already,
Lots are
They're already there.
They already
yes.
And
We did
use,
approve that.
okay,
use one for a driveway.
right,
Yeah.
that would be good.
And I get your point, Mr. Loftus, but with that being drive over curb, automatically makes it a frontage.
Okay. From
an
Bel Air
access
Circle.
point.
Okay.
Correct. Because it is drive over curb, so that is the access point.
Okay.
It's not the type B tall 6-inch curb.
I understand that. And so gaining access from Malibu Loop would be cutting the curb, and that's what you would say no to. Okay.
So the type B curb exists from this corner intersection up to this corner, and then it goes back into a rollover and sidewalk. Like I said, the utilities are stubbed out on Bel Air. There's two sets of and when we approved the adjoining the two lots into one, that was part of the approval, was at least one of those sets of services have to be abandoned, or because you're paying for two accounts now on one lot.
Any further discussion? Anything from the public? Any discussion here?
I don't think there's a motion really
I
to be
was-
set.
That's what I was
Back to the beginning.
gonna suggest, is a lack of emotion and let it die so they can go back and work, do some work on it
So-
and come back.
So what we'll have to do
Yeah.
is, I'm gonna ask, is there a motion to approve the variance request?
No motion.
Not hearing a motion, that item will die for lack of motion. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, gentlemen.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, on to the next one is approval of resolution 2025-12, resolution excluding the within described property. I'll let you take it, Rick.
So this is a resolution that was presented to the Planning Commission back in November of 2024. It was approved and recommended approval and actually went to city council and was approved by the council. However, when we took it up to record it, it was found to have some errors in the resolution. So we're resubmitting the resolution 2025-12, which is a resolution excluding the within described property, which is a portion of the southeast quarter, the southwest quarter, lying north of Bear Butte Road, and a portion of Government Lot 7 lying north of Bear Butte Road, Lot X2 and Lot X of the southwest quarter, and Lot BR of Regan subdivision, all being located in the south half of Section 3, Township 5 North, Range 5 East, Black Hills Meridian, City of Sturgis, Meade County. The petition was filed by the landowners of this property and was signed by not less than 3/4 of the registered voters of that property. This property would, in fact, return to Meade County jurisdiction. However, it would remain in our statutory 3-mile plating jurisdiction. Minimum subdivision requirements for any future development of this property would be the Meade County subdivision minimum requirements. Sly Hill Road will remain within the city jurisdiction, and again, no further access off of Sly Hill Road would be allowed to these properties. Staff has reviewed this request for exclusion and agrees that the city cannot provide municipal water, sewer, or sanitary services to this property. All roads in the future development would be maintained by the developer. Baseline did provide a map. This shows the property to be excluded and put back into the county, which is basically this heavier line. You can see, again, Bear Butte Road, Sly Hill Road, Old Highway 79, whatever you want to call it, still does remain within the city's jurisdiction. It's just removing this property. And again, given the topography and the condition of the road, I don't see, I mean, I don't even know that money is an issue. I don't see how we would ever get the municipal services up to it. It would be almost impossible. So we are recommending to approve this. Again, it's just we had some typos in it that we had to clear up. The Register of Deeds has now looked at it, and she is good with the changes that we have made, and this will be scheduled to go to council on the 17th.
Okay. Shannon, you got anything to add?
Nope, just here to answer any questions. It might be, Rick covered it really well, so,
Lot lines didn't change, none of that changed, it was just
Nope.
language,
no.
okay?
It was, I mean, it was an error on our, I mean, staff, we got some wrong language in there, so we're just trying to correct it.
Okay. Any discussion from the public? Any discussion up here? Okay. Do we have a motion for this?
Actually, wait, I would just like it noted that I'm going to abstain from voting on this topic.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. And we have a first?
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor say yes.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, on to item 4, public comment. Is there any public comment from anybody tonight? Okay, hearing none. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I have a first,
I'll second.
a second. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.